Nope.
Right
now. Yeah, let's high five. Let's do it.
We got it.
Sure.
Dark Zero versus Mirage. Mirage, another one of those teams assembled from, I don't want to say the spare parts of other teams, because I think that is
I don't think that's fair.
Quite improper. But a term that I actually quite like to employ here that I think is relatively inoffensive is often the Isle of Misfit Toys. Now, if those of you have ever watched the seminal Winter Classic known as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you would be familiar with the Island of Misfit Toys. And basically, it's just the toys that didn't fit in anywhere else.
Yeah.
They're brought together to find new love, new life, and new purpose. And for a team such as Mirage, these players were dropped from their respective rosters. On the right side of your screen, that's NJR. He does not play for Mirage. Don't be confused.
An imposter among us.
Imposter. As our good friend Blue, who will be casting in just 2 matches from now with Lynx. Or as we like to refer to him as Linux.
Linux.
He would say an interloper.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Operator bans are dialed in Thatcher, Osa, Kaid, Azami, Nick.
Yeah, a little bit of a different approach here. The Kaid ban is common on a couple of maps, Oregon being one of them, Sky actually being another one, because it can be so tricky to get through these walls, and Thatcher is banned if Kaid is left open. So you often see if Team A bans the Thatcher, then Team B will ban the Kaid in response, because otherwise attacking becomes way too difficult. And to make it even more explainable, Mirage were the ones who did ban out the Kaid. They're also starting on the attacking side, so they want to rack up a couple of rounds here and make their first 6 rounds easier, because if you go down, let's say 0-5, 0-6, you're almost guaranteed to lose out here, because a single or 2 mistakes will cost you that match point situation, and then it's over. So DC, they are comfortable on the defensive side. They'll start things off, and because Kate is on the board, the Chief will roll out with that bandit instead to electrify walls, deny those streets from being opened on up, and Jesse set this on the desk. Skyscraper, a difficult map to attack on, and we saw in the first 2 matchups, teams opted for relatively safe and comfortable maps of Border and Oregon. Skyscraper is not one of those every single team plays, and it is not easy nor simple. So a different approach here for both of these 2 teams.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine that with the limited practice that this Mirage team has as a roster, Skyscraper has probably not been the map that they have been most practiced on. But the one thing is that a best-of-1 series usually results in somebody playing the map that they're familiar on. Like, think about how many opportunities Mirage had to ban maps.
Exactly.
If you allow Skyscraper into the final 3 maps, you have to at least have some level of understanding or proficiency, or Drip. Oh, our friend Drip Boolin, he got outfoxed in the operator bans. Is that the case? I don't know. I doubt it. But either way.
Had to see. Also, I mean, Darkseer historically not a great Skyscraper team, so if Mirage knowing that they're gonna face Darkseer early on in the very first opening game for their side, they can say, you know what, Skyscraper very likely to go through. So that's why we're here. It's a slow start, but Geisha has been opened up. Chief was not successful on the bandit trickery on that side, but once Mirage did that, they rotated back to the east side of the map, seemingly going for a roam clear after all. But because they go Geisha first, they get that job done. That frees up members, the EMP, secondary EMPs from Dokkaebi, the nades from DP Fire, and Surf as well. And now the tools have been spent. Now you have just free guns because all your utilities have been used. Now you can still start fighting DC on the road.
Gavin fighting off the drones. He's going to be watched by these other players. He's got some backup in hand. Canadian was around the same spot. Pambazoo is there now instead. Canadian has fallen down, and he's just giving calls, and the sledge swings on in. They trade. DP Fire the pick onto Pambazoo, goes back and forth. Gavin goes down to Kansan, and they trade as well. 2 trades back to back. Have you ever seen such a thing? I don't really know. There's a lot of reserve ammunition in that P90 for Canadian. Managing to drop Yeti, and he gets the grenade to send Yeti off home.
That's a risky one. Swing with a pistol and that gun.
Whoa!
Rampy.
Okay.
Nice shot.
Former teammates on Space Station. Rampy no longer on that team. Now he gets Canadian on yet another squad, this time on Mirage. Honestly, it's going to take some time getting used to Rampy on Mirage.
Yes, that is going to be a big one.
He's been such a staple of that SSG squad. This round has flown by. It's the final 30 seconds. NJR still holds on to 2 of those toxic canisters. You can blanket anybody who wants to head into the bomb site. There goes yet another onto the main stairs. It'll be Rampy to probably take some damage here, but NJR will need to contend against it. Achieved his down. Surf is on a single point of HP. NJR looking in one direction, pops up, and it's Surf on a single point of HP to give Mirage round number 1.
I have to say, an impressive first round from Mirage. They had a very clear goal from the very moment the round started. The second objective, basically freeing up every member, as I said, going for Geisha wall first, then getting office wall, means every single thing is done right there from the get-go. And TP fire, nah, no way both opening kills are a trade. I don't think I've seen that happen almost ever. Like, that is such a rarity, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, a trade once or twice in a game is one thing.
Yeah.
2 trades in the same round, 2 trades in the same game is unlikely as well.
Yeah.
2 trades to start off the match? That's insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
No, it really is. Well, in Mirage, like fundamentally a great round for them, a really good read on what they wanted, and it did look a bit slow. Time was ticking down last 14 seconds or so, but if you find yourself trading out evenly as the attacking team, going from 5v5 to 3v3, where you get full map control besides the bomb side, that is arguably a favorable position for the attackers to be in, especially since that Geisha was opened up early. Once the attackers got to that balcony of Geisha, that job was already done, so they didn't need the manpower to help do that sim a bit together, because that was step number 1. It's a very smart way to approach the rounds. Mirage, they do have more tricks up their sleeves. The flexibility of this roster, because it's experienced players such as DP Fire, Kansan, Yeti, and Rampy, Surf still being a little bit of a newcomer, they can flex operators. Rampy now and Ying all of a sudden just gonna lead the charge on these injuries for Mirage.
Canadian again reunited on this Solus operator pick. I really did like the way we saw Solus being used in the last round.
Yeah.
Trying to support both Pambazoo and Gavin from down below. It's over on the house side of things for DZ. Basically just scouting out drones. If you can make those drone calls to the rest of your teammates, they can swat away at the drones and force 1v1s. As they did, but nobody prevailed because both the 1v1s were perfect trades.
True.
Canadian will be on the same spot, or in same idea down on the first floor.
And Canadian loves playing Pulse and Alchemy as well, so he loves that information, and Solus, he can make plays himself, but also, as you said, help his teammates.
He played the most Solus of anybody at SI, actually. Because
is he actually the most, like, their number 1?
out of all of the players at SI, Canadian played Solus the most, at least from the data that we have.
Interesting.
Even from the data that we have. Oh my goodness, Canadian.
Oh, come on.
That's the real deal. He sees Yeti's leg and hold on a second there. He'll walk back up very close to Pambazoo. His job down on that first floor seemingly done.
Yeah. I mean, that's Anna as well as a gadgetry-wise, secondary gadget as well, massive value. Those grenades off the board. So, of course, one set on DP's Fire's pocket, but he's way off on the other side of the map, and so is Surf. Opening up this exterior wall. No bandit trickery, just a mute jammer, so the secondary DP will take care of that immediately. But still, only a minute to go in this round. Mirage haven't made much progress besides that exterior wall getting opened up.
There's a logic bomb and Rampy to follow up on it. Tosses out a Candela. Doesn't even need it. He just decides to repeat dry. Down goes achieved. Oh, he misses out on yet another. Rampy tossing out a Candela yet again.
He's everywhere.
He's just going to continue to follow it up. Hitting a goo mine and getting swung up on. This is so ugly. Unbelievable messiness from these players. Down goes Surf. You see the roam coming in quite well for DZ, but they'll now decide to consolidate closer to the bomb site. It's another trade, by the way.
Oh my god.
Another trade. Good lord.
It looked like Rampy was in a rush in that round as well. I mean, he
making up for lost time.
Yeah, he literally didn't like go the W key once. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna jump in the bathroom window, just keep going. 3 Candelas out, swings people with Candela in hand. Worked out at one time, didn't work the second, but yeah. Mirage with a different pace in round number 1 into round number 2 with a different result.
Very, very different pace. So, well, that's that. And back to Team Karaoke, they will go. This top 4 so far for DZ not being as fruitful as they want. But look at the lineup being brought from this Dark Zero squad. Very similar to what we saw before. They'll likely have Pambazoo and Gavin roam. Canadian on the Solus will play from down below. That's my thinking.
Yeah.
They could change it up.
No, of course. One thing that just kind of struck me right now with the trades happening as well is that if you've been in the NAL for the last year and a little bit.
Okay.
You have not played an online match unless you played like the qualifiers or whatnot in over a year.
Right.
Because they played LAN in Las Vegas, and then of course they played LAN tournaments with majors invitationals. This is the first time some of these players have played a game of tier 1 level Siege on what is actually having ping in the first place in over a year.
Well, the qualifiers, where they played on...
Besides the qualifiers.
Okay.
Which of course, like, I mean, DC, you know, they won the shot at major. They didn't play the qualifier for Invite, for example.
That's correct.
So it's been a hot minute for some of these players.
Rampy did. No, Rampy played the qualifier.
did.
Rampy and Yeti both played the qualifiers on Space Station.
That is correct. So they would be a little bit more familiar with it. But only point was that this is actually quite a different scenario to, like, let's say EUL or other regions where we don't play domestically or locally rather every single week.
Why do you say we? You're not in the EUL. You said we play.
What they, I don't know, we, they, them, who, everyone, NAL, teams, players. I'm confused sometimes, Parker.
That's okay. It's not the same roam from Dark Zero. That's a lot of value added from that Flores drone, by the way, on that top of backstairs doorway leading outside. Took everything down. I'm going to keep harping at this Flores play. I'm going to keep telling everybody who's watching, play more Flores.
Yeah.
I beg you.
High value operator, underrated.
Flores in ranked, on attack, exceptionally strong. Azami on defense, in ranked, exceptionally strong. If neither of those operators are banned, play them.
Yeah. I concur. I really do.
And you're a world champion.
That is correct.
I'm just someone with a microphone.
Candela's going out, but nothing really being done, so we have to mini execute. Well, Wemby is in, but he's in a bit of a stuck place here.
Let's go with that Candela continue to roll towards the main stairs. Bullet tracers from down below. It's nice to see a bit of a rejuvenated Rampy here, whether it was just that Space Station had some serious organizational struggles or maybe the roster needed some motivation. Either way, there's Rampy to take down Gavin, but DZ finds themselves on the board twice. Rampy still post up inside of Geisha. 3 kills in a row for Dark Zero. They are just very quickly cutting through these numbers of Mirage. TP Fire gets it down on Pambazoo, but not a secure. He gets killed from an angle he's not expecting. Achieved inside a drum. That'll leave Pambazoo to bleed out. Kansan not breathing any of those toxic fumes, not going through the laser gate. They know exactly where he is, though. And he'll cut through the gate, no problem. Back up, but now he has to wane out the toxic gas. Of which there is no more, to be fair. NJR has used all of them. Thrown at the feet. Kansan now deciding, let's go on in, but NJR says, you know what, my toxic babes aren't there, but I'll just do it myself with the SMG.
Yeah, tough place for Kansan. Can't really do much in that scenario. Your team just kind of lost their fight on the Geisha side of things, and the only real criticism there from Mirage is that every single member came from the exact same location or side of the map. Besides, Kansan stuck outside the balcony with an Aruni gate, with toxic babes. He couldn't help his team, so
It's a very early timeout, Nick.
very early timeout. But again, I actually think I am by the philosophy where you take it early, you get ahead of the problem instead of letting it get so big that you can't overcome it. So I'm actually a fan, I have to say. You know, for a moment I was in invitationals mode.
The dog!
It is a doggo. Look out the window.
Look at the dog!
Oh.
No, go back to the dog.
Go back.
Go back to the dog.
Please. Yes.
Oh, dog's lying down now.
When we saw the tactical timeout in the player cams, I was like in invite mode where we hear it, right? I was like waiting for the audio to come through, and I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We're not that fortunate. That's right.
That's the forehead cam right there.
Classic player cams.
Yeah.
It's
Drip did not like something after that third round, calling a very early timeout. What do you think the woes are that Mirage are currently going through that you think he can correct?
I mean, honestly, I think if you were to take the simple route, it's like playing more together. Right now, it's Rambi trying to do things completely alone, which I think, again, rejuvenated Rambi, taking risk, making plays, looking for openings, but we're not progressing, or Mirage, rather, are not progressing on the map. They need to get in there as a team and have a clear objective, like in round number 1. The second one is so many members of Mirage come from that same exact position, same doorway, just funneling through the meat grinder, and that's why DC, when they get 1 kill, that turns to 3 because they're right next to each other. Utility work-wise, Mirage, they're doing good. They're getting their walls opened up with EMPs, they're using grenades to clear pieces of utility, but they're not getting into a winnable position in terms of gunfights. So they can do better in that department to weaken their opponents. But again, you know, talking about Dark Zero, they are one of the most structured teams, one of the most fundamentally heavy teams when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege. They have the paper shots, they follow them to the T, and one of DC's biggest weaknesses throughout the history of the organization and the team is that they're too structured, one could almost argue. But with time, they've tried to kind of get more loose in their gameplay, and something like Gavin and Pambasu and JR having that aggressive vibe to them, now getting achieved a consistent, stable factor. I think this could be one of the best Dark Zero iterations that we've seen so far from them. But this is the first week, the first game. It's 2-1 up against Mirage. They're defending Skyscraper. This right here doesn't tell the full story.
Oh, that one's going to chase Gaveni off the spot very quickly on. Out goes Elysian Mine. This is a spot that he liked before. Information is gained. Gavin having some serious difficulties when it comes to hunting down those drones. And Rampy almost gets one on a Pambazu. But Pambazu seemed to be a little bit surprised by that one over in Terrace.
Drive-by.
That is indeed what we call them. And that's all of the Lion scans off the board as well. That's not ideal.
No, and it slows Mirage down again because they get something, then they lose it. Now they gotta rotate around and figure out what's the next step. And you see, the clock is burning down. Half the round is over already, and they've only gone through step number 1, the initial office wall being opened up. It's the slowest round so far for Mirage. Glacier wall is next.
Good time to get it.
They got those 3 EMPs, but there's no wall denial, so they're not needed. Could throw one for safety if you wanted to, but nope.
Some small moonwalking on your screen. Things have opened up, and now you can walk through Geisha with relative confidence. This focus has been entirely upstairs, despite the fact that it is a barbecue kitchen defense down below. Another soulless round from Canadian. Are we going to see anything else?
Maybe not.
Yeah, it seems like it's the only operator that he's going to play. And I mean, he gets found out, spotted by DP Fire. Removed from action, say goodbye, say so long. Mirage still have not been able to translate this upstairs hold. A lot's going to fall onto the shoulders of the sledge of DP Fire as he now goes and does some destructive work. It's an advantage for Mirage. They have one extra body over this DZ team, but not a lot of time. There's a logic bomb giving information to the attacking forces as they now slowly move their way into the bomb site. Yeti drops, taking a ton of damage. Still alive, all 3 players from Mirage in roughly the same area. NJR fending them all off. He gets 2, and it's all up to Surf, who has the diffuser, but doesn't have time to get it planted, and DZ wins on the clock.
NJR. Honestly, if you go back to the last like 6 to 7 months, he will be the #1 player from DC who just keeps finding these victories and rounds that saves his team from a bad position, because they will be in a losing position like we just saw. He finds 2-3 kills back to back in a position where he has no backup from his team. And he is on hard support usually on the attacking side and often on a semi-passive flex role on defense. And I read Reddit on occasion, and these people are screaming, please put NGR in a fragging role, because he's usually top gunning for your team. And again here, 6 kills, leading in the kills department for Dark Zero in just the first 4 rounds. And sure, he's playing some Frost, now some Warden, but I actually wonder, in an alternate universe, what could NGR do as like an entry or maybe secondary entry player, because he clearly has what it takes in those positions.
Well then, 3 bomb sites played so far. That T-Barbecue really probably should not have been a Dark Zero victory, Nick, but I mean, sometimes you win games even though you shouldn't. Yeah. Teams who win are always objectively better. Subjectively? I don't know. Objectively? Very
Definitely.
much so. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh. How can you be objectively better and lose? That's just not how it works. Yeti's still searching for his very first kill.
Yeah, you know, I was sitting here pondering, should I bring that up? But
you should.
You did it. No, you did it for me.
Through 4 rounds, Yeti struggling with this team. He seemed to breathe almost new life into Space Station when he went onto that roster, but Sometimes it can take a little bit longer to acclimate. Vertical went 0-4, if you recall, before finishing, I think, as close to even as you're going to get after starting 0-4.
Yeah.
Still time for Yeti to pick up the pace as well.
I mean, the skyscraper attack, you're doing the entry and secondary entry work if you're Yeti, and it's just not easy to get in the building. But if your team follows through afterwards, you've done your job arguably. That doesn't show on the scoreboard, of course, but we see it as spectators and as commentators. But again, Mirage, it's a slow start, kind of waiting for the first move to be made from Dark Zero, but they're not moving an inch. In fact, there's no one even nearby in this attack and squad from Mirage on the map, because most of Dark Zero, they've cut a line in the map halfway. One is belonging to Dark Zero, and one now to Mirage.
NJR spies Rampy, but cannot get all the shots needed to take him down. A bit of damage is done, but that's it as they walk their separate ways. Cannot die without those EE1D charges being used. Rampy's already used 2 of them.
Oh.
Canadian's actually got somebody here. He might be able to make some damage. Oh, just missing out.
He's on the other side. There's a debate.
Yeah. You know, he probably could have gotten an angle onto the wall if he
if you angle
out,
it.
Yeah, if he tossed out both of his impacts. Down goes Rampy, so he was hunted earlier on, felled inside a drum, not too far from where that first engagement with NJR was. It was Pambazoo's hands that do it, though. Yeti tossing in a nade, eaten by an ADS. Surf is not too far off. Both players standing by the dragon statue. Creeping up. It's an office take, so this is about as close as these 2 players from Mirage are to be able to getting in to the bomb site. All the while, Kansan falls to Pambazoo as Rampage continues onwards. Pambazoo picking up kill number 7 in that engagement. Very narrowly a flawless round, Nick. It's Surf to get that 1 pick.
Bomb has been located.
Traded out, now it's DP Fire on the board, narrowing these numbers. He could potentially work a clutch here. You know he's inside a terrace as the bullets whiz on by towards the top of the stairs. On that sledge, making an awful lot of noise. He's not long for this earth. NJR, clinical precision. DZ storming to a big lead, 4-1.
Yeah, and you can show that 1 versus 3 in a masterclass, because that is a perfect 1 versus 3 or 3 versus 1 crossfire from Dark Zero. The moment DB5 walks on in, all 3 members have an angle, so he would have to hit like a ridiculous 3 flicks in a row in a nanosecond to have a simple chance to win the round. And of course, that's just not going to happen. It is so often that teams will have a poor crossfire in a 1v2 or 1v3, and it allows for mistakes to happen, and that's how clutch rounds they occur. Even if you played it as perfectly as you humanly could, if you were the 1 guy against 3 opponents, there has to be a mistake somewhere from that 3-member core for you to get that clutch in the first place. DC did not allow for it. They're 4-1 up currently, but this is skyscraper defense. If Mirage win this upcoming round and they go 2-4 in scoreline, they're in a great position to turn things around on the side swap. If they even things up, we go to overtime, and if not, well, of course, then they falter. But this is one of the hardest positions to be in. Sky attack, especially for a new squad with little time to practice on it. Bit of flexing around, mostly Rampy though, going back to that Ying operator, 2nd time for him.
Far more successful and far more comfortable on entry on that operator than we saw on Lion. Now, obviously, Ying has very different tools for entry than Lion does. You can literally just Candela your way into a room and get a first pick, as long as there's nobody there to support whichever roamer it might be.
Sensor on.
I think it's a bit underrated. A lot of people, they will play the Ying and save everything for the bombs that execute because it makes the most sense, if you will. But as you said, you can use Candelas for the roam clear. And instead of getting, the bomb down, you'll get a kill or maybe 2 kills, and you'll have a different kind of advantage. Randy playing Ying while being an injured player speaks to the possibility of him using those Candelas early in the round, like we saw the first time, to build that exact point. Panda also been rocking that Ghost Charm for as long as I can remember. That's his staple, I guess. Like Shiva has the Spider, Panda has the Ghost.
It is cool. I mean, now that you're not playing on land anymore, it's nice to see these players on their actual account. They're able to play with skins. Surf was running that Christmas skin from ages ago that players talk about. Speaking of Pambazoo and that Ghost Charm, he has turned Rampy into a ghost because it doesn't seem to matter what operator Rampy plays. His influence in the last 3 rounds has been almost zilch. That's not what you want to see. Rampy started off well. We saw him using Ying quite effectively, goes to Lion twice, and now a 3rd round on that Ying and just cannot put together anything. First casualty for Mirage. Final round of this first half, and DZ have just bought themselves a lot of breathing room in the remaining minute and 30.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the attacking lineup, the only real utility they have for their bombs that execute is going to be the smokes from Thermite and the Candelas and smokes from Ying. You know, that's all gone now. And in fact, the Surf on Thermite has flashbangs, so there's no smokes on the board even now. With Rampage being taken down, it's all gunfights from Mirage. They're gonna walk in and just try and fight it out.
Haven't been able to find anything. DP Fire sustaining damage inside of Geisha. He's softened up NJR, but he's still got all three of those smokes in his back pocket. This is the gamble that every single pro player who's a smoke needs to gamble on is, do you use your smokes? And there you go. NJR doesn't want that to go by without him. Now it's Gavin who takes some damage. Achieved, a Nitro Cell goes out, it connects with Surf. Canadian playing from below. The numbers from Mirage don't really allow them much wiggle room to send somebody down to get Canadian, so he can keep in that position. Down goes Gavin to Yeti, who's now barged into the bomb site. That's Yeti's very first kill coming in the final round of this first half. Final 30 seconds and the shotgun on the back stairs in the hands of NJR will outduel Yeti through the wall. DP Fire could be next in line, losing to Pambazoo. As you want to call that, a cross-body karate shot. Sure enough, that's exactly what he pulls off. Kansan in a 1v3 after he subdued Pambazoo. He's got the diffuser, but he's a sitting duck. He'll go for the plant. The sound will ring out through the bomb site, and it's NJR to seal the deal, reduced to almost nothing at the midpoint of the round. But you can see how nothing can actually mean an awful lot. First half, Dark Zero 5-1.
Damn. Yeah, and you can see that Dark Zero, they always have that contingency plan. It's Troy, Canadian downstairs below with the Solas. He's always on his gadget, seeing if anyone's droning, any drones are being active, and also, let's say the bomb site control is lost for DC. Well, there's nowhere Mirage can plant safely with Solas below. He has those impacts and pockets, can always deny the plan, disrupt it, slow them down, etc. But it just so happens to be that DC are winning on the side itself, while having below control. They're winning on both fronts, and it's why Mirage are getting choked out in these rounds time and time again. But this is that moment where things can be turned around. Sure, Mirage are down 1-5 in terms of round count, but now they get a shot at the stronger side. There's not a lot of room for error or mistakes here because you are down that badly in round count, but DC now have that tall task ahead of them. How will they approach the attacking side? So far, it's 4 attacker repicks, plus Pambazoo just taking the nuke. He's 9-2. Give the man some freedom, walk around the map. Let's talk about NGR. He was going to play Dokkaebi, use the gadget, drone a little bit. He's actually attacker repicking onto Ash. And Gavin instead is going to take the more supportive role of Dokkaebi. This speaks to an old philosophy, that is, if you're having a great time, you're being granted freedom to keep having a great time. Because it makes sense if NJR is on 9 kills and feeling great, and Gavin's on 3 kills, that you free up your main gunner. That's what DC's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see teams that might not have a dedicated support. Well, then somebody will start playing really poorly, and suddenly you're in that role. Yeah. Talking about these two teams, it was Iconic that was playing so poorly, he got put on support role, if you remember, all the way back to Charlotte Major. Iconic was the top player at the entire event going into those finals, and then had some serious struggles, and they put him on hard breach just because they're like, you know what, you can't ball today, so we're going to put you on something else. But if you're balling out like Pambazoo and NJR are, sounds a bit like a pirate. You can put him on Ash, you can put him on Nook, it doesn't matter.
I like it though. The flexibility of the team, of course, is what that highlights more than anything else. That the fact that Gavin, as a new player, quote-unquote new player, is still able to do these things for the team.
Activating drone.
Rampy's right now holding over by drum. First minute off of the clock. It's been no real superstars from Mirage. Everybody's numbers right now underwater. Looking for one of these players to really step up and stand down. It looked like it was Rampy at the start of this matchup, but he cooled off from that point onward. This setup for Mirage does not look very comfortable. They're constantly jostling. They've got 3 players inside the same room. It looks like they're very unsure of how to play this.
Yeah, and also just they're unsure of where Dark Zero are because there's no one on the balcony. No one's on the breach, no one's on the window. They're all on the west side of the map or the south balcony. Pamba once again finds them a kill onto Kansan this time, but Mirage, they clearly have no information and they desperately need it.
Kansan down, that's the Mira. Does a Nitro Cell die with them as well? No. Yes, it did.
Yes.
So, some explosive conduct no longer allowed. Yeti pulling trigger a little bit too quickly on the Ash. Tearing strips in NJR, but still in a precarious spot. Now it's Rampy again. Nice read from Rampy onto Pambazoo, and a nice shot as well as Mirage are hitting their stride right at the perfect moment. Trying to deny Dark Zero from moving to match point so quickly. NJR salvaging the round, or so trying to. Losing out as one of the players from Mirage just jumps on over. Diffuser will need to be retrieved. There's Gavin to do some serious damage. 3 of the 4 remaining players in this round very gravely injured. Rampy's the only one who hasn't had a single bullet touch him so far. Final 10 seconds. Rampy pops up. Gavin goes down, and now it's NJR on 10 kills to walk in. And Rampy, what a huge round. 3 big picks. Mirage prevent DZ from moving to match point. They pick up only their 2nd round so far. There's a lot of work to be done for this Mirage squad.
Ironically, it almost looked like the round got easier for Mirage as more people died because it allowed people to have freedom to move on the bomb site comfortably enough because they're all fighting for the good spot. And Rampy just kind of laid down and said, this one out here, this one is mine. I'm not going to move an inch, and just kind of let DC come to him. He found 3 picks in the round without moving a muscle, really. While the rest of Mirage, they're, running around like headless chickens trying to figure out where is it actually going to be comfortable for me to play on. And it was only Yeti who found that spot inside a drag, but even he did not really find success. He bought time, he slowed down NGR, but eventually he too fell in that 1v1 gunfight on the Dragon statuary position. And this is the thing. Attack and Skyscraper, we saw it, it's difficult. Darkseid had a great plan. They had to open and kill. They got the walls open up everywhere on the map, and Mirage were looking very uncomfortable, but it's still a defender victory. So many things have to go out for defenders, and you execute, you cannot slip up. One small mistake, and you're just gonna not break the line.
Honestly, I gotta say, I was extremely worried for Mirage after seeing the start of that defensive round. I did not have a wealth of confidence that they were going to be able to pull things off with how all over the place they were. So kudos to them for making it work and just showing that sometimes firepower can indeed be enough. Even though we didn't get the greatest look at their strategic depth, I'm sure it was definitely present, just we didn't see it as well as we could have. Sometimes you don't get to see the intricacies. Yeah, sometimes you don't. Even the best spectating in the world isn't going to get you that. So I've had some pretty good spectating so far today.
As always. Big kudos to observers. They never let us down, except medics tends to troll sometimes in our ears, I have to say. We love him.
We do. We don't have to deal with him. We have to deal with his former co-worker in Easy. And Ali, who I think is actually, Ali's actually the one doing it right now, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, first minute off the round, and this hold might look like a karaoke tea defense. It's not. Don't be fooled. Down below, inside of Barbecue Kitchen.
Mirage was about verticality. Got the Capcan trap, so if the round, or the clock rather, and the round starts going too low and DC starts sprinting on in, those Capcan traps can be a big issue for them. Same with DB found those frost traps. Plenty to go around. It's a very slow attack around from Darkseid. They've made a little bit of progress on both floors of the map, but no real combat has happened as of yet. No one's finding it out. We see drones left, right, and center on the map for Darkseid. They got information, but now they need to start acting upon it.
As the Flores drones yet again going in, the Rotero drone showing big value, but the Nitro Cell actually causing the drone to blow up a bit prematurely. Don't know exactly what the goal was there. Maybe they just simply didn't want to deal with it all. Bad timing, but NJR gets the kill either way. Yet he swings out a bit too much. NJR could have had another. Yes, he is. Unrelenting. Pambazoo and Canadian get on the board as well. Rampy denies a flawless round. There's a Capcan trap to get NJR from the dead. All eyes will be on Rampy from Mirage. Canadian getting the diffuser down. Does Rampy know this as he heard it amidst the calamity that went off?
Activating the diffuser.
Now he's aware. Rampy inside a kitchen. The table will not show him the way. He's have to fight his way out of kitchen, and there will be multiple sets of eyes from DZ looking in that direction. It's Gavin to get the final pick. Mirage able to gain one so far on defense, but DZ answer back, and they're on match point.
Yeah, and again, solid cross between Gavin and Troy in that 1 versus 2 with the third member off at his own place, not entirely sure where. But Mirage, they just got completely destroyed, and again, no one can really outduel NGR in these gunfights. It came down to a Capgun trap instead, taking him out of the equation. But NGR, he finds that first lucky, fortunate for him kill, in the midst of throwing out a flashbang, and the second pre-fire on the wall. It puts Dark Zero in a 1 or 5 versus 1 position, as every member just won individual gunfights, but it still gets down to a 1 versus 3. It's still relatively close. If Randy had the C4 in pocket, he could arguably thrown that out, maybe killed Troy. That's a 1v2. Things are possible. So despite it being a 6-2 round score, there have been multiple rounds that were a bit closer than what the score shows us.
I feel like we had the same thing in that OXG Beast Coast game.
Yeah, no, we certainly did.
Even though that very first game, cover your ears if you don't like spoilers, ended in a 7-3, could have been much closer than that. There were a lot of rounds that came down to like 2v2s.
5 seconds left.
I mean, that was also OXG not having Newers show up the way he's used to.
That is correct. That is a good point to make. But our dream, oh boy. Did you see the CCG statistics after the first 2 games? It was like all Dream, number 1 in every category but 1. It was just Mitch's world. It was wonderful.
We're living in it.
And we're living in it.
A dream for him, a nightmare for everybody else.
Good one. Now we got Canadian on Monty. Now that is something it kind of was. It was too easy of a pun to make. I'm sorry. Do better. Yeah, I have expectations for you, Parker, as do all the fans. You know? You're fans. You have fans.
I think we both do.
They rock your charm and Game of Seed sometimes. It's kind of cool.
I see yours as well. Our charms came out on the same day.
Yeah, I know. I'm still surprised by that when you said it to me.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. They came out at the same time.
Okay, cool.
Very nice. And now Spoit joins the club as well.
I was gonna say, it's about the newest edition here. So the pro players at least.
I see Jinxie's charm everywhere. But he also had like 20,000 subs at some point.
No.
Like crazy.
40.
He had 40,000 subs.
Yeah, I think he had 43 last I checked. And that was like a 5.
Hold on a second. What?
Is he buying a shotgun?
No. Hello? Oh! Nah. I love the sound of the suppressed supernova. I love it.
Oh, man.
Beat it to me.
It's the t-shirt cannon, man.
It sounds great. You ever see the movie Old Country for No Men?
Yes.
Oh, it sounds exactly like his suppressed shotgun. That just, and that's it. I can't even make the sound. I don't think my voice can go that high. Sounds wonderful. Looks very funny.
Highly effective.
Highly effective. I was gonna say when you have Amaru running it, it's particularly enraging as well. You have an Amaru just yeet their way into the bomb site, and then they've got that shotgun in hand. Blows coming too for both teams, by the way. Now it's Kanzan and Gavin in a battle to the death. Rampy missing out on his duel. There goes Kanzan. What is happening here? The Monty will go in. Oh no. DP fire run. You're the last one alive. The Monty's breathing down your neck. Can you feel it? There are the flashes tucked into the corner. Completely blind. Oh no. Monty's still in there. Canadian on the Monte, needs to get the diffuser down. What is he doing? There's the shotgun. DP Fire gets the kill. Canadian almost down with the diffuser. Gavin low on HP too. This is winnable, but no, NJR upside down. Sends it home. Well, that was a quick one. 7-2 in favor of Dark Zero. Showing that I suppose the addition of Achieved, making them a slightly better team. And they got some smiles on their face. Tough entry for this Mirage squad to the North America League.
The MVP screening for Pambasu with a shotgun in hand and silencer on it. A great showing for him as an individual player from Dark Zero's team as well.
Absolutely. And that's it for this matchup. We've got more to go. We're not going to slow you down. We'll be back after this break.